Cows, bodybuilders. Rabbits resembling a fluffy cloud. Curvy sheep, a huge bison as a pet, and much more. In this edition, you'll see the most gigantic animals on farms. You'll also learn how they're grown. Raising animals on farms is something that humans have been doing for many hundreds of years. Due to that, we maintain their population and at the same time benefit what's necessary for our own lives. Farms come in many different forms. Some follow already outdated trends, while others turn their farm into an entire work of art. I don't know how real this picture is, but what it depicts is, mildly speaking, surprising. It shows a farmer at one giant automated tractor carrying 8 giant bulls. Yes, even if this picture's fake, you should have looked at it anyway, because in fact, it illustrates what makes the world go round. It's heading toward total automation, to the point where humans will just walk around and admire the natural beauty, and machines will control everything and do their bidding. Do you think this is rather good or bad? After all, despite being freed from doing things, many people still don't see it as a positive thing. In their opinion, by removing themselves from manual labor, after a while, people will completely lose their skills and will be almost helpless in the absence of technology. But come on! I suggest that we don't talk about sad things and immediately look at one of the wonderful animals raised on farms. We're talking about the gaur, the largest member of the genus of real bulls. This handsome guy can be more than 10 feet long, and the height of its shoulders reaches up to 7.5 feet. The bull weighs up to 2.2 tons. From birth, these bulls are used to be active under the daytime sun, but if they live near urban settlements, their active hours are rearranged and more closer to the evening. At this time, they quietly feed on grasses and foliage. They probably need to minimize stress from human contact for good growth and a stable nervous system, so they're nocturnal. And you know, that's good enough for them. After all, in such conditions, they minimize interaction with people, eat grass, and fill it with the mud, from which they get salts, minerals, and microelements. Gaur isn't only an athlete but a good climber as well. Herds of bulls go into the high jungles of India, Pakistan, Nepal, and other Asian countries, climbing up to 2 miles above sea level. Do you know who accompanies a whole herd of bulls in such a case? No, not a farmer or even an alpha male, but a real female. She protects her brethren from attacks, leading them to the fertile land, and watches over the young. In general, she plays the role of a mother to all her fellows at the same time. Powerful males prefer to live separately without anyone's supervision. They join the ladies' team only when it's time to mate. As you can understand, this is not the easiest animal to domesticate, doesn't like people, and requires a huge amount of greenery with dirt. If you take even one of these items out of a bull's life, its size and strength will be greatly reduced, and that's definitely not what farmers want. That's why farmers prefer Belgian Blue rather than Gaur. In fact, they're also very large and strong bulls, but their size secret is different. They're not so aggressive towards people. This Mr. Olympia weighs up to 3,000 pounds, and 80% of it is pure muscle weight. Looking at this machine, you wouldn't think that they were trying to mold it into a dairy breed, and that's because at some point the cow's body decided to disrupt the experiment. The Belgian Blue had broken a gene responsible for muscle growth called myostatin. It works according to the following principle. The higher its concentration in the blood, the less the body's desire to build up the coveted meat. And now, think what will happen if there's no myostatin in the bull's body at all. Right, the muscles will start to grow as if you were training under the guidance of the main bodybuilder of the planet. Of course, at the same time, you require around-the-clock access to the table with food. It's definitely worth it because at the output, the farmers get these giant bulls we can hardly believe to exist. But don't think this is where the peculiarities of raising them end. Unfortunately, this is not the case. Along with the fact that the cow is super pumped up, she has no layer of fat. That means she'll easily get cold in even slightly cool weather. There's another difficulty in breeding them in the form of constant monitoring indoor and outdoor temperatures. The muscular thighs also squeeze the female and male reproductive organs. This results in periodic inflammation that leads to a much higher than normal miscarriage rate. But why do we keep talking about bulls? Does the sun rise and set on them? Of course not. Now I'll tell you about a breed of chickens called Orpingtons. These meat-egg chickens received such a beautiful and noble name from the English city where they were bred. Scientists have been working hard for a long time to make their works pay off, and the result was an ideal breed in many senses. And you know, this is how it happened. Orpingtons can lay about 150 large eggs a year. It's excellent in itself. Also, by various standards, an adult bird gains between 3 and 7 pounds in weight. Here's an alternative option. No eggs. Go for soup or meat. I agree. That sounds a bit harsh and in some respects even cruel. Anyway, this is the farming world, and it'd be foolish to expect anything else. Here's a happy fact to add to our bank of good cheer. Nowadays, these chickens are rarely bred by farmers for eggs or meat. More often, they become full-fledged pets and excellent companions, which are proud and admired at exhibitions. What sets them apart from the rest is their broad and large chest and tiny, literally laughable head. The breed also has a lush plumage many breeders turn into a work of art. They turn the hen into a full-fledged walking ball. Such haircut visually enlarges the birds 3 times more. The most attentive of you have the heebie-jeebies right now. They hear that these chickens give plenty of eggs and at the same time are just perfect in terms of meat. Then I tell you that they're not popular with farmers. But why is that so? After all, these facts contradict each other. Yes, you've noticed everything correctly. Now I'll explain why this is so. In fact, Orpingtons are not easy to grow, and it's their looks that cause the trouble. Large birds can hardly fly, so the owner will have to arrange low perches with a special ladder for chicken comfort. If this doesn't work, then the birds can be kept on deep bedding. The obligatory condition is cleanliness and dryness. Otherwise, the chickens will get sick and people will not see either eggs nor good meat. The difficulties don't end here. Farmers will need to arrange a good place for walking and monitoring the diet of their birds. Unlike the bulls, they're hormone-driven, so the extra food goes directly into fat, not muscle. This is not a good thing. That's why most farmers have given up on these birds. We had bulls, chickens too. Who's missing? The pigs, of course. How could we forget about them? They're just a storehouse of amazing meat people are ready to give fabulous money for. I don't see the point in talking about ordinary pigs. Everyone knows everything about them. So let's consider such a wonderful breed as Maitian. It takes its origin from antiquity and is closely related to the Chinese breed Taihu. They've been bred for 400 years. Of course, if people have been paying attention to these pigs for so long, it means that they're worth it and they pay off well. The breed is known for its extreme fertility. Females enter puberty at the age of 2.5 to 3 months and bear 15 or more calves per litter. There are usually very few so-called culls, and all piglets are born healthy and pretty. But not a year later, they turn into abnormal pigs weighing 440 pounds or more. And their whole body from snout to tail will be wrinkled. The pig's skin is so saggy that you can't even see its eyes. To some, this is a good thing. To others, it'll seem like a disadvantage. But what you can't argue about is their diet. Maitians are very unpretentious eaters. Anything from algae to industrial waste will do. Seems to me that if the pig is visually pleasing to the farmer, then it's ideal. What do you make of bisons? The right thing to say is, I don't have anything to do with them, I'm human. All kidding aside though, I have an amazing story for you straight from Texas. A family from that state decided to get a full-fledged bull at home. Of course, they chose a bison for a reason. The thing is that about 10 years ago, they had sold their herd of 52 bulls. The man lost an eye and was unable to look after them properly, so the couple gave it up. However, for old sake's sake, they decided to keep one of them. This bison seemed to be kind enough, good-looking, and loving pet from a small age. He was given the nickname Wild Target. They set up a special place and started to take care of him. Amazingly, the real bison quietly acclimated to the former farmer's home and grew to an amazing ton of pure weight. According to the couple, the bison is a full-fledged member of their family. He took part in the wedding of their loved ones, eats from his bowl, watches movies with them, and even reads books. Give us a like if you'd like to have a pet like this. So to raise a giant bison in your home, you just need to buy a separate bowl for him, set up a private room, and buy a subscription to unlimited movies and online books. That's what you and I have figured out. But what about when you want to raise a large goat? You're probably asking me about the Angora breed, right? After all, it's one of the most popular large domestic goat breeds, characterized by large, floppy ears and long hair that makes up soft, silky wool. The wool of these goats, by the way, produces lustrous fibers, commonly known as mohair. It's valued 10 times more than the wool of ordinary goats, and definitely something that every self-respecting farmer dreams of. When I first saw these goats, I thought that they were misrepresented as poodles. Surprisingly, that's what they really look like. Angora goats are the pride and pearl of Turkey. Historians are confused about where they came from and how long ago. Some say that it was 1,500 years before our era, others as far back as 5,000 years ago. In fact, it's not so important because the main thing is that there are Angora goats. They please hundreds or even thousands of farmers from different corners of the earth. The fact is that their breeding is incredibly profitable. A year later, such an animal can give more than 6.5 pounds of wool. Seems to be not enough. What's more, this material is valued 10 times more than ordinary wool. The only difficulty farmers face is the fastidiousness and excessive tenderness of these goats. They're sensitive to literally everything: diet composition, temperature, dampness, external and internal parasites. If anything goes wrong around them, they become stressed and stop pleasing the farmer. Why would I waste my energy and nerves on that goat? Many farmers think. It's much better to have a Hussar sheep. Is it really so? I suggest that we find out now. Let's start with the fact that sheep of this breed are the largest in the world among all other breeds. Unlike other goats, they have a strong and well-developed backbone, a wide body, and a large-sized fat tail. It serves as a full-fledged Pandora's box for them. It covers not an ancient evil, but the most good and useful: nutrients. However, their advantages don't end here. In addition to an excellent supply of nutrients, Hussar sheep have an amazing immunity everyone can envy. They can quickly adapt to almost any climate, especially in Central Asia. They come from there. When flocks are moved from winter to summer pastures, sheep can cover a distance of 311 miles, and their broad thorax allows them to graze even on high mountain pastures without developing mountain sickness. And if after the Hussar sheep it seems that nothing else can surprise you, then you just haven't seen the Angora rabbit yet. Although some of you may have met this animal in real life but didn't think it was a living creature. After all, an Angora rabbit looks more like some kind of cloud or something. Farmers get up to 3.5 pounds of high-quality soft wool from such a handsome rabbit. It's not only soft but also incredibly dense. It's not recommended to wet the animal fur because they can get sick. Thanks to the insulated coat, animals have no problem tolerating even the harshest winters. While rabbits get over anything, many people, on the contrary, cannot stand them. I'm especially talking about the servants of high-ranking people. Some time ago, when these rabbits became fashionable, many rich people immediately bought them. They had neither strength nor time to take care of these fluffy creatures and sold them to their servants. Now imagine yourself in the shoes of a butler given the task to take care of this beast. You've no end of work, and now you've got to comb and wash a rabbit. It would be an unbelievable amount of work. Later on, I'll tell you about the most dangerous dog breeds. Butcher's dog. That's the nickname of our first guest. The clued-up people have already guessed that I'm talking about the Rottweiler. Many people know these dogs by their great watchdog disposition, and their stamina has always been a big help to police officers. By the way, I never said why they're called butcher's dog. The fact is that Rottweilers used to be suitable for transporting heavy carts of meat cargo from the farm to the market, and they also drove big cattle, in particular bulls. Do you know the reason the survival of these dogs came into question? That was the simple fact that trains appeared in Germany. Nevertheless, enthusiasts quickly started working on this breed, and they managed not only to save it, but also to introduce it to the police, where, thanks to the strength and endurance of the butcher's dogs, they showed themselves excellently. You know, looking at the pictures of these creatures, I sometimes think that it would be possible to hire a whole staff of such dogs, and there'd be no need for people. After all, this dog can weigh almost 110 to 130 pounds, and in terms of bite force, it overtakes almost its congeners. Of course, if a person thinks about what kind of pet to choose first in their life, the Rottweiler will not be the best option. The dog's very dangerous, and only a real dog fancier can handle it. In good hands, the machine grows into an obedient and loyal dog that loves the world and people and will never hurt anyone just because. Well, if you're already standing in the dog store and trying to distinguish the Rottweiler from the others, here's a tip. These guys have only one possible color – black and tan. American Bully. The torso of this creature arouses a real admiration even among the avid jocks, and its behavior gives the impression of a loyal and devoted man's friend. Nevertheless, I'd be careful with this dog. After all, you can hardly consider a dog which ancestors fought bulls cute and fluffy, right? In case you didn't know, the history of the American Bully began in England many years ago when bull baiting was popular. Bull dogs were used directly for this purpose, hence the name of the breed. So they were gaining popularity and cost lots of money. But one day, bull baiting was banned by law, and bull dogs were no longer needed. People sold off their dogs and sent them all over the world. Because of this, many bulldog species have undergone major changes. While the handsome American Bully has remained as similar as possible to its English ancestors, it still has the same intimidating, powerful, and muscular appearance, short muzzle, and large head. A time of curious facts, the American Bully is almost the main owner of a stable nervous system among all dogs. There's not much that can surprise this dog. Check it out for yourself if you don't believe me. And what you still need to believe is that the American Bully will protect its owner at any cost. The dog is rightly awarded the title of fighter to the last breath, which speaks for itself. However, this handsome dog is not at all a mindless brawler or aggressor. On the contrary, according to many scientists, the American Bully is smarter than the Caucasian Shepherd dog, Mastiff, and other not-stupid dogs. German Shepherd. This famous shepherd dog is very easy to train. At the same time, it's great with children and doesn't behave aggressively. However, the breed appeared not so long ago, just over 100 years ago. By the way, it was bred artificially. Wolf blood flows in the veins of these handsome creatures. Many people bred them to fulfill their purpose, the protection of livestock. It wasn't long before World War II came around. At that time, German Shepherds were again useful, already at the front. They were used there in a rather unusual way. They brought people bags with medicines. In other words, they were four-legged paramedics. Also, the dogs could be messengers or even mine pickers. Not moving away from the World War II topic, it's worth noting another interesting fact. Since Germany did not arouse the warmest feelings of many people at the time, it was decided to rename the breed Alsatian Wolfdog. This definition is still in use today, although it didn't assimilate. Even though this breed is inferior in bite force to some other dogs, it still has big mass, sharp teeth, and most importantly, a sharp mind. It's a pretty cool combination that makes the German Shepherd a dangerous and very powerful dog. Alaskan Malamute. This is a very beautiful and unusual breed which is at the same time one of the oldest on Earth. It got its name just in honor of the tribe which, according to legend, bred these creatures. Large and hardy animals for a long time were used for dog sledding in the far north. In 2010, Alaskan Malamutes were proclaimed the official symbol of the largest U.S. state, Alaska. These dogs were very similar to wolves. Some of them can weigh more than 88 pounds. Thick fur keeps them warm in any frost, and their muscular body helps them to cope with any obstacles on the way. Despite their kindness, Alaskan Malamutes are peculiar dogs, constantly trying to dominate and have their own way. By the way, remember I told you about resemblance to wolves? Well, Alaskan Malamutes never bark either, but they have a lot of other sounds in their arsenal, from their most characteristic grumbling to squealing, moaning, and grunting. Also, these dogs have agile and nimble paws. Apparently, their hunter ancestor spirit has affected the dog, and it can easily hold food with its paws or open the door like having a hand with 5 fingers. But paws are not the only thing the Alaskan Malamute can surprise us with. It also amazes with its strength. These cute and fluffy creatures can pull a load weighing up to 1.5 tons. And if you've already wanted to get such a handsome creature, here's the last argument in its favor. The dogs of this breed do not smell at all, not even when they're wet. Moreover, their intelligence will be the envy of many adults. By the way, it was Alaskan Malamutes that were used to train artificial intelligence in the dog's way of thinking. Fila Brasileiro. The Fila Brasileiro is one of the largest dog breeds with an extremely powerful build and frequent aggression towards others. In the past, this dog was used to hunt jaguars. Many, by the way, believe that the Fila Brasileiro appeared in Brazil by breeding in order to catch runaway prisoners and slaves. Parents of the Fila Brasileiro may well be a Mastiff and a Bulldog, which have the same impressive size and aggressive behavior. The main strength of this breed is its grip. It's not by chance that the name of the dog came from it. Based on the etymology of the Portuguese word fila, the name of the breed can be translated as hold or grab with the teeth. The Fila Brasileiro coped with its task great, so every owner was happy. Because of it, Brazilians even came up with a saying, faithful as a Fila. Despite this, there are many countries where it's forbidden to breed this breed. Cane Corso. This is an Italian dog breed that evokes mixed feelings. The exact origin of the breed is still unknown. Many believe that it was used by the ancient Romans who used the dog in battles, and then the Cane Corso turned into a simple guard dog. Cane means dog, and Corso means strong or protector. This 110-pound monster will stand up to the end for its family, and few will stop it from doing so. That's why the breed has both clear pros and cons. On the one hand, these dogs can be loyal, kind, and strong. On the other hand, they can be naughty, dangerous, and frightening. It all depends on their training, which not everyone can handle. It's important for the owner to be in good physical shape to be able to hold back the impulse of the dog, as well as give the Cane Corso plenty of space to release its energy. It's a pity that some pets frequently don't live a long life. Anyway, there is a way out: to get a robot pet. Robot dogs have been gaining a lot of popularity lately. It's dogs that are becoming prototypes for all sorts of robots. And the next one was also created in China. This robot is unusual in that it's a war robot. The robot presented at last year's exhibition is controlled using an app on a military pad, carries a cannon weighing 31 pounds, and is capable of hitting tactical targets. At the exhibition itself, the developers did not show the shooting skills of this robot. Either they have not yet finalized this feature to the end, or it's a secret. After all, it is a new type of weapon. There are robots that are designed specifically for certain purposes and tasks. The next case, however, is apparently not one of those. I'm talking about a robot spider called T8X. The manufacturing company says about it as follows: looks like a spider, moves like a spider, and that's it. Basically, it's just a robot in the form of a spider. It's very good though. It's the only robot in the world that has graceful movements imitating the natural movements of a spider. There are 26 servo motors inside the robot, which, combined with advanced robotic algorithms, are designed to control the multi-legged walking robot. Simple commands for the robot can be executed from smartphones, pads, or computers. The robotic engine uses inverse kinematics calculations, leg movement, trajectory coordination, planning, advanced motor control, and so on. All in all, you can have a lot of fun and spend a lot of time with this robot. Crab. And now let's go back to some useful things again. The next robot is about 10 years old, but it still looks very good in comparison with even many modern developments. Crabster CR200 is the brainchild of Korean scientists. It is the largest deep-sea stepper, weighing almost 1,323 pounds. It was designed specifically for complex work on the ocean floor. Crabster CR200 is equipped with 6 mechanical legs, 11 cameras, as well as sonars. Thanks to this, it can work effectively, even in murky water and other difficult underwater conditions. The crab's powerful legs are needed to keep the machine from being swept away by currents and to ensure that nothing interferes with its work. Unlike the other robots I've told you about today, this one is difficult to control. To fully control the metal crab, you need 4 people working together, because it's impossible to simultaneously control the movement, manipulators, and at the same time to analyze the incoming information. But everything is fair here. The crab does serious work, analyzes the seabed and shipwrecks, creates maps. Therefore, it's impossible to manage such a serious robot alone. Starfish. Next up is another robot that's designed for water. The developers have named it Patrick. It's not difficult to guess that this robot artificially reproduces the structure and behavior of a starfish. The essence is approximately the same as in the case of that mechanical spider. The robot has no special tasks and goals. Its main essence is to demonstrate scientific achievements, what scientists are capable of right now. I must say they did their best. The unique robot can crawl underwater using 5 legs propelled by an alloy wire. The robot senses the environment well and independently chooses the direction to move. Another interesting ability of the soft robot is that it can perform a wide range of possible movements underwater, as its legs are made up of muscles that can be rearranged in different ways. This is rare for mobile robots, which are usually only capable of a few simple movements or styles of movement. Rooster. And lastly, a robot that may cause misunderstanding on your part. And indeed, it's called Rooster, but it doesn't look like a famous bird. Well, maybe it is so, but the robot still has some similarities to a live bird, and most importantly, it's extremely useful. This Israeli robot walks most of the time, but when it encounters an obstacle, it can soar and fly. The main purpose of the robot Rooster is to search for people and help the injured during natural disasters, where it's not safe to send a human rescuer. The robot is very strong. It rolls in a cage measuring 12 by 16 inches, can fall from a height of 20 feet and continue to work. Robot roosters are designed to work as a team and are sent on missions as a group. Firstly, this increases the chances of detection and rescues of people. And secondly, the robots can communicate with each other via their wireless communication, like a walkie-talkie. This means that even if there's no cellular network or internet connection, they can still report to each other about their location, human sightings, and other important things. That's all, guys. Which robot would you like to buy for yourself? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and see you later.